Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. How come more people have joined today? All the old batch students have joined, is it? Ashutosh, Saurabh. Mhm. Why are old group people are joining? Sharwani, sorry, and Navya. Are you guys writing in November? Yes. Mhm. Okay. Harshita. This is my first class. Can I know which topic you're dealing with today? Yeah. We have completed chapter number 1 and we are in chapter number 2 now. We are doing residential status. Okay, Navya, we got the message in our group regarding class, so we have joined. Anyway, this is not the revision class. This is not the revision class. This is a regular class for the new students. If you have doubt, you can stay. We are doing residential status. If you have doubt in residential status, you can stay. Okay. Shall we quickly revise what we did yesterday? First, we saw residential status for individual. First, you need to check the first basic condition. You should be in India for more than 182 days. If that is not satisfied, then you will go for condition number 2. In condition number 2, there are two parts. Part A is 365 days or more in 4 preceding previous year. If this is satisfied, then you will check for part B. This is unconditioned. Both should be satisfied. Part B says 60 days or more in the previous year. This 60 will be treated as 182 for these three people who all crew member who has left India for employment and person of Indian origin. Who is a person of Indian origin? Whose parents or grandparents were born in undivided India. Now we had first amendment. What does it say? These three people, if their Indian income is more than 15 lakh, then this 60 days will be treated as 120, not 182. Now it will be 120. Now, Now, second amendment. This is applicable only if he's a non-resident. If he's a non-resident, only then you will check for this provision. Second amendment point, deemed resident. Conditions. He has to be an Indian citizen. His income should be more than 15 lakh. Then he should not be liable to pay tax in any other country. What was the example which we took? Vijay Mallya. He was an Indian citizen. His Indian income is more than 15 lakh and he's not liable to pay tax in any other country. England also is not liable to pay tax. Even though he's in India for 1 day also, 0 days also, he will still be deemed resident. Deemed resident will always be RNOR. Will always be RNOR. Now, once he's a resident, he can either be ROR or RNOR. To be an ROR, he has to satisfy both these conditions. This is and condition. He has to satisfy both. He should be resident in 2 out of 10 preceding previous year and stay in India for more than 730 days. Yesterday's example, Steve Waugh, he was in India only for 700 days in the 7 preceding previous year. Therefore, second condition was not satisfied. Therefore, he was RNOR. Napka bartidya. Now, RNOR, you can satisfy any one of these 4 conditions. Any one of these 4 conditions. First one, non-resident in 9 out of 10 preceding previous year, or stays in India for less than 728 days in 7 preceding previous year, or if he's a deemed resident. We'll check for this point only when he's a non-resident. Only when the assessee is non-resident, you have to check for this point. Check whether he's an Indian citizen, whether his Indian income is more than 15 lakh and he's not liable to pay tax in any other country. Next, this is the first amendment point. These 3 people, crew member who has left for employment and person of Indian origin, if these 3 people having income more than 15 lakh, then 60 days was considered as 120. Now, if their stay in India is between 120 to 182 days, then they will be RNOR. If it is more than 182, you will be ROR. For this also, we saw one example. We saw the example of ABD, Steve Waugh, Vijay Mallya also we saw. Then crew member also we saw yesterday. Now, residential status of HUF. HUF can either be ROR, RNOR or NR. If the control and management is wholly in India, then it is resident. Otherwise, it is non-resident. If wholly outside India, then it is non-resident. Now, how will you decide ROR and RNOR? Depending upon the residential status of Karta. If Karta is ROR, then HUF is also ROR. If Karta is RNOR, then HUF is also RNOR. Next, residential status of others. AOP, BOI, AJP and firms. What was the difference between AOP and BOI? Anybody can become a member in AOP, but only individuals can become a member in BOI, body of individuals. Now, this is simple. Concept of ROR, RNOR is not there. It is there. ROR and RNOR is only for individuals and HUF. Now, here also same point, just like HUF itself. Control and management. If it is wholly or partly in India, then these 4 will be a resident. Otherwise, if it is wholly outside India, otherwise will be a non-resident. Simple. This is all priority C. HUF priority B. HUF also priority B. Now, company. You are doing company. Indian company, if incorporated under Companies Act 2013, will always be a resident. Now, foreign company, if POEM is in India, then that company will be a resident. Otherwise, if POEM is outside India, it will be treated as non-resident. What is POEM? Place of effective management. Now, how to find out place of effective management? We'll do that today. That is priority C, but still it is there in your syllabus. We will do it. Place of effective management outside India. How to find out whether POEM is outside India? There are 2 tests. You cannot do the first one, only then you will go for the second one. Test number 1. It is called as ABOY test. What do you mean by it? Active business outside India. Active business outside India. You can write along with me. This is not so important. Keep it as priority C. Keep it as priority C. A boy. Active business outside India. How will you check whether the company has active business outside India? If company has less than 50% of its income, assets, payroll expense, employees in India. What do you mean by this? Let's say Facebook has total income of 100 crores, out of which only 10 crores is from India. Only 10 crores is from India, which is 10%. 10% of its total income. It should be less than 50%. So it is satisfying. Income point is satisfying. Assets. Let's say a company has 500 crore total assets, but only 25 crore assets are in India. Only 25 crore assets are in India. In that case, somewhere around 5%, which is less than 50%. Payroll expenditure. Company has an expenditure of, let's say, 5 crore towards its employees, out of which it is paying 2 crores to employees in India, which comes around 40%, which is also less than 50%. Now, employees. Let's say company has total of 1,000 employees, out of which 300 are, which comes to around 30%. Again, which is less than 50%. If company has all these four less than 50% in India, then Aboy test is satisfied. That means company has active business outside India. Company has active business outside India. Along with Aboy test, you also have to check one more point. Majority board of director meeting should be held outside India. This is the first test. First, you will check for Aboy. If these four are less than 50% in India and majority board of director meeting is held outside India, then poem is considered to be outside India. In that case, company's residential status will be non-resident. It will be non-resident. This is the first test. If this is not possible, then you will go for second test. Only then you will go for second test. In this, first you will identify the person. Makes key and commercial decision. It can either be MD, CEO, anyone, whoever is taking the key and commercial decision. First, you will identify who is taking the key decision and then the place where decision is taken. Let's say Mark Zuckerberg. He takes key and commercial decision of the Facebook. If he is sitting in India and taking the decisions, then place of effective management will be considered India. If he is sitting in Singapore and taking decisions in Singapore, then poem will be considered to be outside India. Simple point. Keep it as priority C. No one will ask you questions based on poem. Directly they will give place of effective management is in India. Tell me the residential status of this foreign company. In Indian company, they can give biscuit. For Indian company, they might say poem in India, outside India. Outside India. It's not important. Indian company will always be a resident. Indian company will always be resident. Don't get confused with place of effective management concept with Indian company. It is applicable on foreign companies. Copy this point fast. Copy this point. You have 2 minutes time. Copy this point. Then we will discuss what is the usefulness of residential status. Those who have joined from the old batch, are you guys not writing in August? Are you all writing in December itself?
August, sir.
And what are you doing here? Go and study now.
Revision ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲ sir.
This regular batch, it will take around another 25 to 30 days to complete.
ಹಾ ಸರ್, ಹಂಗೆ ಓದ್ದಂಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್. ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ಗೆ 2 days ಅಂತ ಏನೋ ಅಂದ್ರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಬಂತಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸರ್. ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಓದ್ಕೊಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಸರ್.
ಸರಿ ಸರಿ. Papa, Ashutosh, you did not attend for the first batch itself properly. Okay, attend. Harshita says tax law classes is not conduct for us, sir. You are the old batch student or new batch? Harshita. Will you finish DT by August 1st? Yeah, I think so. From next week, maybe I'll be taking 2.5 hours. So I think I will be finishing with another 20 or 25 days. By July 20 or 25th, I think I will be finishing DT. Old batch. Not conducted for us. Is it the first time you are attending my class, Harshita? Thank you, sir. This okay. So let's move on. Before moving further, everywhere we discussed Indian income more than 15 lakh, Indian income more than 15 lakh. What do you mean by Indian income and what do you mean by foreign income? We'll discuss that first. Indian income. For those three people, we repeated, income should be more than 15 lakh, then 60 will become 120 days. What do you mean by Indian income? Indian income is split into four items. There are 4 types of Indian income. One, if you receive anything in India, received in India. If you receive anything in India, it will be considered as Indian income. Second one, deemed to be received in India. This is important. We'll discuss this in detail. Deemed to be received in. Next, accrued in India. Fourth one, deemed to be accrued in India. Fourth one is also important. Wherever you see the word deemed, always important, always important. Received in India. What do you mean by it? I'm taking your class. I'm getting money from Bix Academy. I'm receiving it in India itself. So it is my Indian income. Second one. Suppose there was a student from Sri Lanka. Let's say there was a student from Sri Lanka. Even though I'm taking classes for Sri Lankan student, but still I'm receiving the amount in India. It will be my Indian income. What do you mean by deemed to be received in India? We'll look at it in detail. Accrued in India. Let's say you have an FD of 10 lakh. You get interest at 5% per annum, which is equal to how much? 50,000. You have not received the income. It is still compounding. Interest mele interest you are getting. But you have not received this income. But still it is treated as your Indian income because it is accrued in India. Accrued in India. The fourth one, deemed to be accrued in India. We'll see that in detail. Point number 2 and 4. We'll see that in detail in another 5 to 10 minutes. Now let us understand what do you mean by foreign income. Copy Indian income first, then we'll discuss foreign income. Copy this fast, quickly. Indian income. If you are received in India or deemed to be received in India, if you are accrued in India or deemed to be accrued in India, then it is treated as Indian income. Foreign income, exactly ulta. Exactly ulta. Income which is not received in India and not deemed to be received in India, and income which is not accrued in India and not deemed to be accrued in India. Same, exactly ulta. Exactly ulta of first and second. Indian income, it should be received in India or deemed to be received. Foreign income, which is not received or deemed to be received in India. Second one, same, ulta of third and fourth point. Or deemed to arise in India. Exactly ulta of Indian income. What is the use of this? We'll see that in a minute. We'll see that. Bega copy this fast. Now we have to check which income is taxable for whom. Which income is taxable for whom? Whether global income is taxable for everybody or only Indian income is taxable or only foreign income is taxable. We'll see that now. See that now. Incidence of tax for individuals and HUF. We'll do for individuals and HUF first. Why? Because only for these two we have the concept of ROR, RNOR, and NR. For others, it is only resident and non-resident. Only for these two we have concept of ROR, RNOR, and NR. Income is taxable for whom? There are 2 types of income. Which one? Indian income and foreign income. Indian income and foreign income, both are taxable to ROR. Global income is taxable to ROR. You can write down global income is taxable. Global income is taxable to ROR. For him, everything is taxable. And this Indian income, whatever you earn in India, is taxable for all. It's taxable for all, whether you are ROR, RNOR, or NR. It is taxable for all. This much is simple. Indian income taxable for all, and for ROR, every income is taxable. Now for RNOR, is foreign income taxable or not? We have to see. Only 2 types of foreign income is taxable. Only 2 types of foreign income is taxable. Which are these 2? First one, income from business. Second one, income from profession. These 2 are set up in India. Only 2 types of foreign income is taxable for RNOR. Income from business or profession, if it is set up in India. Even though it's a RNOR, and if he is receiving any income from business or profession, if it is set up in India, then it is taxable. Only these 2 types of foreign income are taxable. Now, for NR, not taxable. For NR, foreign income is not taxable. So this is the usefulness of residential status. Not for that 1 mark in your exam. This is the importance of residential status. Copy this fast, then we'll do for others. Others under company, AOP, BOI, AJP. For them, what is the incidence of tax? They don't have RNOR concept, only resident and non-resident for them. Copy this quickly. Yen screenshot tagoltiro, write baritiro, do something. Indian income taxable for all. For ROR, global income is taxable. RNOR, only 2 types of foreign income is taxable. That is one from business or profession, if it is set up in India. And for non-resident, foreign income is not taxable. Ashutosh is asking, dividend received by non-resident by company set up in India, is it taxable in the hands of RNOR or NR?